Monday mornings with Matt and Kevin. What's in the news? Topics that come up around the dinner table will be given the truth treatment with no punches held and no falsehood left standing. These two will debate real-life issues from a Catholic perspective every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
And now, here are your hosts, Matt and Kevin.
We're in the first Monday of Lent. Hopefully you guys all made it through your first weekend, your first half a week of Lent pretty well. And you're starting off on the real week of Lent. Let's see how well we do. I hope everyone's benefiting from this season. It's tough, but that's the point, right? It's supposed to be tough. So, but we also hope that you're here to listen to us talk and we're going to talk about, what are we talking about, Matt? We're going to talk about Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, pretty interesting conspiracy theories. I'm excited for this one. And we're going to talk a bit about, an issue with women not having babies anymore. Several issues with that. And we might bring up a little bit of politics in Argentina, which kind of connect to politics here. But we do want to say, first of all, everybody, I think this kind of goes without saying. We used to say it before every show, or I used to say it, that we're just two guys. We're two guys having a conversation. And we can totally err and fail and say the wrong thing. We certainly don't want to scandalize anyone. We don't want to, put anyone down the wrong path. We hope everyone understands that. I don't think we've ever done that. I certainly hope not. But just, again, remember, we are not talking for any organization, any clergy, any group. We're not talking for the Catholic Church. This is literally Kevin and Matt having a conversation. Please keep that in mind. If we say something wrong, you can ask us, hey, guys, I didn't like that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine if you didn't like it. But anyway, just remember that, we're not speaking for any church or anything. It's just the two of us having a talk. I hope you guys appreciate it. I know people listen to it. So, I guess you guys must. So thank you for sticking with us. And please give us a little bit of leeway. Anyway, Matt, I guess that segues into...
Right. So I wanted to jump in really quick as well and just mention that the movie that I brought up, I saw it a long time ago. And I believe I was even having difficulty remembering who directed the thing, and I believe it was Sofia Coppola. And I only brought that up, Kevin, in my mental bank here because that sounds like an Italian name. So it kind of pulled back to me. It's something like Gabagal or Paz de Vazul, and it came to me on the show last week. And yeah, there was a scene that I had brought up, which apparently was the bedding ceremony, which after the Marie Antoinette and her husband were married. And I was just ignorant and really not fully, I guess, comprehensive of the whole situation. And I didn't mean to, obviously scandalize anyone or lead anyone into any sort of maybe temptation or suggest any impure thought or action there. So I do apologize if that was the case. It was an innocent mistake or bypass on my part. And so I just wanted to bring that up really quick and address it. So speaking of, hopefully that covers that. And like you said too, we have said earlier when we started the show that we are just two laymen sharing ideas and talking with one another and just having a conversation like we were sitting at a table having a conversation over whatever. So people are choosing to eavesdrop or listen on our conversation. That's really what's happening.
I do have to say, Matt, I did get a complaint. Yes. I did get a complaint. Another one that someone said that we don't argue enough. We're always on the same side. We're kind of boring. So one of these days, we're just going to have to, we got to stop agreeing so much, Matt.
But I remember when we actually first started the show, I brought that up to you. I was like, how do you kind of want the format? Are we going to agree on everything, or are we going to go back and forth? And I remember, I believe we both kind of decided that, no, we weren't going to really argue. The only time that we were really going back and forth, and do you know the topic? I know exactly what topic it is.
Well, I know Thanksgiving.
What do you and I, what?
Thanksgiving.
Okay. All right. Sure. That's another one. But there's another topic, too, that I still think you're wrong on. And it has to do with swinging a baseball bat.
Oh, the Yankees? Oh.
Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds.
Oh.
Yeah,
the home run king, Barry Bonds.
You got some really bad opinions about Thanksgiving and Barry Bonds. I mean, I'll argue about that all day long if you want. I mean,
People agreed with me in the comments. I thought I was riding solo
Well,
here.
you know, Matt,
And
you know what they
then
say
the
about
comments
people in the
got it.
YouTube comment section. I don't know.
Yeah.
not our commenters most of the time. Just when you agree with
course
Matt about
not.
Barry Bonds or
Of
Thanksgiving.
course not.
Now
Of course
you
not.
guys
Spring training is underway, Kev. Baseball is kind of
really?
yes.
I didn't, wow.
The first game was today. Today, if we look at the 19th,
Snap.
I believe the 24th. Saturday is the first spring training game for a lot of guys. So we're back. We're back at it. And do you think that they rig baseball like they can rig the NFL Super Bowl? Maybe seems harder to. It seems a bit harder.
It would be harder because I think that the way to rig it, and there is absolute, there's proof that the NBA has been rigged before by the referees. That I forget the guy's name. He's a famous name. He's a famous ref and a famous scandal that he rigged NBA games. I think for his own gain.
Was that with Jordan though, and all of that?
It was back in exactly. Yeah, it was back in the 90s. In the
90s. Yeah, anyway, I remember hearing about this. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was in the pocket of the mafia or whatever, and so he was throwing games. And so a referee can determine how to call specific plays, how harshly he calls it. He can call it harder for one team and not for the other. That's absolute fact. And there are definitely referees in the NBA who are harder on one team than another. There's a guy named, I think his name's Scott Brooks. Oh man, I don't know that. Anyway, there's a referee right now who absolutely hates Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, and so every time he referees the Nuggets, he is unfair to the Nuggets because he doesn't like the player, and that's just if you disagree with it, then you're wrong. It is just how it is. It's the human side of being a referee. So that's the low end of it, but that shows you though that absolutely a game can be affected by the referees, and we're going to get into the crazier side of this.
You want to know? Can I just jump in really quick? You want to know? I just give me your thoughts here. From what I've noticed, is they don't call travels anymore. Guys are taking 4 or 5 steps, and they're letting them. I don't watch as much, but do you notice that?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, it's because
it's a thing, right? Yes.
Oh, it's because they've determined that the defense is boring, and it's because the generations of today don't have patience. They don't like low-scoring games. All the people want to watch, or that's what the NBA has determined, that people who watch sports today, they just want to see scoring. And I don't know if it's true, but that's what they think. And over here in Europe, it's a much more defensive game and much more, in my opinion, more fun to watch. But
it's the same.
It's a thing for sure.
It's the same to be said about baseball, though, is I think the only way that you could argue that there was a quote-unquote rigging of it was people want to see home runs. They want to see runs scored. And so they kind of put their hands over their eyes and their ears during the steroid era, in which they claim Mark McGwire saved baseball. He broke the home run record in 98. Sammy Sosa was right behind him, and they let them steroid up, juice up, just to get those offensive numbers. But I'm kind of with you, is I appreciate, if we want to put it on the baseball side of things, I appreciate a well-pitched game. I enjoyed, like back then, I feel like there's not as many great pitchers anymore, but I enjoyed, even as a Yankee fan, watching Pedro Martinez pitch on the Red Sox. I loved watching Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux. It was Kevin Brown on the Padres. There's just some guys that were Curt Schilling. They're just incredible pitchers that I just enjoyed watching. So I loved a well-pitched ball game. I didn't mind 1-0, 2-1. I didn't need to see 13 to 11. That's just it. I don't know. I appreciated the intensity of a well-pitched game. I think there's a lot of pressure when you've got a 1-run lead and you've got to hold it. I don't know. I like that sort of.
Well, and I think the issue is
the Rockies didn't have that kind of staff.
Rockies were not never. Someday, maybe when they change the rules again somehow. But I think we're in a generation, and the generation before us had a little more patience. They could watch something for 2 or 3 hours and be okay with it. They could just sit and wait, and they didn't have to have home run after home run. I mean, look at what we consume nowadays. We consume things that have to be 20 seconds long. It's one of our next topics had a video from Instagram. I don't have Instagram, but my wife does, and she shared it with me. And it's so fast. Like, they go through these things so fast, and I'm like, I couldn't even read it. It was like they had this story of women, who couldn't have babies. Kind of. It's like, okay, wait, slow down. And I think that's our society right now. Everything's just boom, 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 boom. It's too fast, and no one can pay attention after about 2 seconds. And I think sports sees it. Sports are a business, so sports understand. Okay, we need to bring in the younger generations because the older ones are going to die. So We need to bring in the younger ones. And how do we do that? We do that through speed. We do it through fast, movement or, scoring, etc. Now, football, I think, is king, as you know, and in the U.S., football is by far the biggest sport. And so it's an interesting question when you talk about, cheating in the NFL. I think what's crazy. So again, back to the Taylor Swift topic. Now, when I first heard that Taylor Swift was dating Travis Kelce, and first of all, I cannot stand the Chiefs. They're my rival. So the Denver Broncos are the rivals of the Kansas City Chiefs. So people are asking, why are you rooting for San Francisco? That's a terrible city. Kansas City is a better city. It's like they are my rivals. Kansas City is my rival. So I hate them. That's just how it is. If anyone understands sports, that's why. It's because they're in my division and we hate each other. And so that's the first premise of why I don't like this whole story. But anyway, but when I first heard that Swift and Kelce Kelce were dating, I was like,
yes,
that's interesting. And then you heard all these stats, and I should have pulled this up. Maybe you did, Matt. You usually do. But there are crazy stats, at the millions and millions of fans that have logged on or followed now the Kansas City Chiefs and NFL Twitter, Facebook, Instagram from Taylor Swift. So she
imagine the revenue she's bringing them.
Millions, yes. Maybe billions, maybe. Unbelievable. So the idea,
I believe
that it's rigged, possible. Yeah,
I believe that I just saw, and I don't have this pulled up already, but I believe that I saw that it was the most watched telecast of all time.
Wow.
Like outdoing like MASH and all of that. Like, this was a once in a lifetime sort of televised event that we might not see again. The numbers were just so high. Eclipsing all sorts of records, and I don't want to give false information, so I want to be careful how I word it. I don't know if it was like any broadcast ever, but that was the headline, and I didn't read the details below. So
did you watch it?
I watched the very, very. Actually, I made it a point not to watch it because number one, I can't stand every time that they score. They've got to show her up in the box having a whole celebration. I hate seeing that. I did turn on the last maybe the last 2 minutes because I thought that the 49ers were going to win. And then I remember the powers that be that control the world had their own. Did you see the tweet from Joe Biden after this? You didn't?
No.
Oh, man. I know our listeners must have. So right after the Super Bowl ended, Kev, Joe Biden on his actual official page tweeted a picture out with his. It's his official White House portrait with laser eyes, and his wording was just how we scripted it or just how we wrote it up. And people were like, first of all, this didn't come from Joe Biden because it's late and he's asleep. But second of all, what are they telling us? But that kind of leads me to the article that I wanted to share with the listeners today. 1 in 5 Americans believe that Taylor Swift is part of a federal operation to reelect Joe Biden. So then it kind of dives in a little bit deeper details here. So 20% of Americans believe that singer Taylor Swift is involved in a federal effort to see Joe Biden reelected in 2024. For months, members of the alt-right have spread unfounded conspiracy theories that Swift was attempting to control American politics through the NFL, given her current relationship with the Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, who has now secured back-to-back Super Bowl titles. Conservatives have speculated that the relationship was fabricated by the government. Just last month, former Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy tweeted, "I wonder who's going to win the Super Bowl next month, and I wonder if there is a major presidential endorsement coming from an artificially, culturally propped up couple this fall." Just some speculation over here, but let's see how this tweet ages over the next 8 months. So it says, if I scroll down a little bit here, 20%, this is the tweet, 20% of Americans believe that Taylor Swift is part of a government effort to reelect Joe Biden, and that her relationship with Travis Kelce is fabricated by the government. Now, what's funny here is that this went to such an extreme, Kev, that the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, had to release a statement saying that Taylor Swift is not a psychological government operation.
Yes. Now we know it's
talking.
true. Now we
right.
know
Right.
Thank
That's
you
actually
very much,
true.
CIA.
Thank you for telling us.
Yes. Yes. Well, now, I mean, they've also said that aliens don't exist and all this stuff too, right? So I mean, I don't know. It really is. It come to that point where, like, if the government says something isn't so, it's like, well,
then that there it is. Put in writing.
Aliens are real. Yeah,
put in writing.
Shoot, JFK was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald. Oh yeah.
Yes,
I'm sure he was CIA. No.
It says, Pentagon spokeswoman Sabrina Singh said, quote, Taylor Swift is not a part of a government psychological operation, period. She has other priorities, so do we. That's awesome. That's unbelievable. Man.
Awesome. I mean, it's crazy. First of all, I wonder where they get this 20% from, but I guess that's a whole nother story. But I just think it's incredible because anyway, whatever you want to believe about it, I don't really believe the government. I think that's too far for me. I'm a conspiracy theorist, as everybody knows, like crazy, but I don't know. But what I do believe, again, is that absolute fact. Don't you dare question this. Kansas City fans, Taylor Swift fans, it is a hugely beneficial thing. Hugely beneficial business decision for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce to date. No question. That is absolute fact. So maybe it's coincidence. Maybe it just worked out. That could be too. I don't know. I can't say otherwise. I don't know that for a fact, but it makes sense that Kelce, the NFL, Swift, and her people said, guys, hey, look, we need to bring in some young fans, Taylor Swift fans who are young. We need to freshen up the NFL a little bit, maybe more women, more young people. So let's bring Swift. Who does it make sense to hook her up with? And let's put her on. Let's just say, let's take out the whole cheating idea. Let's just put her on the best team in football. And that's not a stretch to say it's the Kansas City Chiefs. I hate to say it, but it's true. They have their coach. They have the best quarterback. They have a great
accomplished
team.
Coach. Yeah.
Accomplished coach. I mean, they got a great team. I don't like it, but it's true. So that just makes sense. So I don't know about the whole rigged thing. I don't buy that. Honestly, I think it's too far-fetched. Though the crazy thing to Matt, I told you before the show that in 3 Super Bowls, the Kansas City Chiefs have been called for 0 holding penalties. Now, I know a lot of you people out there aren't NFL fans, so you don't know what that means. That does not happen.
Correct.
It doesn't happen. You always get a holding call in the game. That's unheard of. So let's just say it's an anomaly, but I don't know. Very strange. Very strange. That's the only thing that makes me kind of like, But anyway, I absolutely, totally believe that Swift and the NFL could have done this as totally a setup just to make money and bring in more fans. And it just happened that they won the Super Bowl. I completely could buy that. Completely.
So can I, and I'm sure they'll give us numbers too of jersey sales.
Disagree with me.
It's true. I'm sure they'll give us numbers of jersey sales and ticket everything. Yeah. Everything is just going to be up. And as we said, kind of to start the conversation, numbers are high. Numbers are high. So kind of maybe if you want to jump before we go to the topic we had discussed with marrying later and later and children later and later, something really quick. Did you happen to catch at all Bishop Sanborn's commentary on the Putin interview?
No, I didn't.
At all. Oh, so he released. Yeah, I played a little bit last night. I thought it was very interesting. If people want to maybe find that, I forget the name of the guy who he always interviews him. Steve
Heiner.
Yeah, right. Yes, yeah.
Good,
so he
good buddy of mine. Good buddy, Steven Heiner.
Yes, is he? I don't really know. I always see him on the
wink.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Anyway.
Yeah. So actually it was quite funny. So Bishop Sanborn, he opens up. He's like, it was obvious to me that Putin was very intelligent. He was well read. He was well spoken. And he had a very clear understanding of world events. Meanwhile, our president doesn't know where he is half the time. And I thought that was kind of funny. But a point that comes up later in the interview, Kev, just really quick before we move on, is when Tucker Carlson asks Putin if he sees the supernatural and God at work in world events. And he said no. To be honest, my development, where to go here? My opinion is that the development of the world community is in accordance with inherent or natural laws and processes. And as Bishop Sanborn points out, yes, that is not a Christian response at all. That is not a Christian worldview at all. And Bishop Sanborn mentions that as well. So just a very interesting kind of interview. It was about 40 minutes, I think. I might play it later on as I drive to Mass. I like doing that as I am in the car listening to podcasts or whatever. So totally. Really good thing to listen to. But yeah, do you want to jump into the next what the numbers were?
Absolutely. Though I think real quick, because since we're on politics, I think it makes sense that we briefly mention that the president of Argentina, Milei, what's his name?
Yes,
Milei,
Milei or something.
Sergio Milei. I don't know, Milei. He this is pretty awesome. I just okay. Let me pull it up. I sent it to Matt just a second ago. Mm-hmm. Argentina achieved a balanced budget in January for the first time in over a decade. This is according to Daniel D. Marino on X. It's not Twitter anymore. Sorry, X. President Milei achieved it without congressional action by freezing spending at 2023 levels, cutting many agency budgets by over 50% in real terms. So pretty much he just stopped government spending, and now they're not as much in debt. It's amazing, Matt. It's amazing. It's like, wow, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Don't let the government just spend on transgender research and you might save some money. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, something that's kind of weird and somewhat relatable is that I think maybe about a week ago, Trump posted on Truth Social saying that all president has to do is say close the border, and then that's it, the border's closed. And then you had a lot of conservatives saying, well, then why didn't you do it? Like, is it that simple? Is it that easy? But apparently, from what we see here in Argentina, that the president can issue some executive order. Obama did it. Obama was the one who would open up his mouth and say, "I've got a pen and I know how to use it."
Right.
If that was my best impression there, was that not that bad?
That was good.
You want me to do that one more time?
I do.
All right. I've got a pen and I know how to use it. There, how was that? That was not that bad.
You do a great Obama. I am impressed. That was like AI level.
But you wouldn't have even known that was me.
That sounded like Obama.
That was honest.
You sound like a 60-year-old black man. That's pretty impressive. Man, Matt, who knew? See, no one's ever seen Matt.
Oh man,
maybe he is a 60-year-old black man.
Maybe I am.
Maybe he is.
People don't know.
No.
Actually, I used to have my picture.
I'm cool with that.
You are cool with that, right?
I'm totally cool with that. Yeah. Now, I don't know if I want to talk about Obama, but a 60-year-old black man, I am very cool with that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah,
me and Big Mike, right? Gonna replace Joe Biden.
Oh man, talk about.
But he did. He said that he could. I don't really know what's gonna happen there. I mean, Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama. I don't know. Why even have a president?
Who's leading in Vegas now? I think it was Michelle Obama for a bit. I don't know who it is now.
To replace Joe Biden?
To be the next
Democrat nominee?
I think that must have been what it was. I think it was Democrat.
Oh, I don't know. But I do know that his polling is getting worse and worse ever since that report came out.
He's registered insane. Come on, guys.
He really is.
Let's just say it as it is. He is registered as not able to literally go to prison. So if here's a question, Matt. If you're not capable mentally to go to prison,
he's too mentally. Yeah.
Are you capable mentally to lead the country? I mean, someone needs to turn that into a tweet, because that actually sounds like a pretty good. That sounds pretty. There you go, Matt. That one's for you. So if it goes viral, I want a little bit of credit.
That's from here. I wonder if they're going to even debate. Like,
no, of course they're not going to debate. Are you kidding?
They're going to put out the fake Biden.
Ago. Jeez, come on.
They're going to put out the fake Biden. Did you ever see this thing where it's like they and this I have found fascinating. Movies and cinema, they've gotten really, really, really good at artificial masks and rubber masks and all that, to the point where, like, I've seen people actually, like, just in theater, like in local university, whatever theater, that between the rubber masks and the makeup, whatever, you can change a person's face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes I wonder, like, who are they putting out there? I don't know, for us to see.
I mean, Putin just, I think it was with Carlson, that I think he was saying there are super soldiers. There are soldiers that they've changed the genetics. You know, they've experimented on the genetic genomes and whatever of these people, and they're super soldiers. Whatever that means. If that means they're pumping in cocaine to their bloodstream every 10 minutes, I don't know what that means. But I mean, there's weird stuff going on. That is for sure. You know, I mean, I think it's one of those things. We see these videos of aliens. Oh, there's aliens. And I think that's what they're actually trying to make us. That's the squirrel, a squirrel.
Right,
aliens.
Right.
There's
some
over
crazy
stuff going on with AI and with genetic experimentation. It's creepy stuff. Anyway, okay. Speaking of which, creepy stuff. We're gonna talk about women. So I'm kidding, ladies. I'm kidding. I love you all. So this is actually really interesting. And again, I have to pull this up real quickly. And my wife shared, and she gave me a piece of paper which I didn't bring in, but I'm going to try to remember this from the top of my head. Maybe Matt has it written down, probably not. Anyway, so the Instagram post is just kind of it starts out with a couple women, attractive women, complaining that they're in their 30s or 40s and they are single and don't have any children, and they're very sad about it. And this
Yes.
makes sense. And the lady, the presenter of this video goes on to say, now I'm going to try to remember this. So I think it was 45% of women. This is a prediction. So by 2030, 45% of women of the age 25 to 44 will be single and childless. 45%. So it's almost 50%. And this is in 6 years, almost 50% of women, of working age women.
That's right. You got it.
25
You got
to
it.
44
That's right.
are going to be single and childless by 2030. Matt, I honestly, I told her, I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, okay, I almost don't believe this. Please find me a source. And she did. It's pretty interesting. The source, which I don't really want to share with you guys because it's a very liberal, woke source, but it's from Morgan Stanley. But it's actually a good point. So Morgan Stanley did this research, and they found so that the title of this Morgan Stanley research, or the article is 2020. So this is back 2020. Is 2020 the year of the she economy? Not economy, she economy. And it's very positive that women need to take over the world pretty much. And one of the points being that this could happen because by 2030, 45% of women are going to be single and childless, which is good according to this article, because then they can be in the workforce. Matt, what are your thoughts?
So I remember we kind of brought this up in a little different way a few shows ago, and the topic that I kind of touched on was that when my grandfather was growing up, so this was a while ago now, but when my grandfather was growing up, absolutely everyone in this area here in the New England area was Catholic. And they're probably either Irish or Italian, because that's just who settled in this area. And you really just had your pick. Like, quite honestly, like, all women really had the same goals, and for the most part, all men had the same goals. It was a much easier pool to kind of just go from. Men were expected in these days to go to work and provide for their family, and women were expected to stay home and care for the home and care for the children. And so really finding a young woman who espoused these things was probably like going out in New England and finding a Dunkin' Donuts. They were just, this was just what was available to you.
That's
and this
super
was
offensive, man.
I know that's very offensive. Yeah. Cancel this.
Comparing women to Dunkin' Donuts.
Very offensive. If we need a safe space.
I'm gonna get mad emails about this one too. Thanks, Matt.
Everyone who lives in New England knows that there's a Dunkin' Donuts every 5 feet. That's the point.
Sure.
And yeah, that's just what it was back then. There was no pre-conciliar, post-conciliar. What are you here? What are you there? And there's been a lot of nuances that have made things a lot more difficult. And I think back then it just made it quite simple. You met somebody, and this is what my grandfather did. You met somebody, and he already had a predisposition of what this relationship was going to be: Catholic, Italian, homemaker. That was already things that men are looking for when they are looking for a relationship are already pre-checked off. You're not really fighting anything. You're looking for compatibility, and you're looking for things that are, maybe compatibility in terms of personalities or other things. But for the most part, a lot of the big major things in terms of virtue were already there. We didn't have the world, I don't think was nowhere near, and it was, but it wasn't near the cesspool that it was today. And I really think technology and the way we interact with people has changed so very much of things. And I think, people, you even, when I was looking at your video, there are other videos that kind of come up and relate, and it's like, what do you do after you, say, go out to dinner or whatever? And how long do you wait to text her? How long do you wait to reply? There's all of these, like, I don't want to say these mental games that are involved today that didn't happen back then. You didn't have that form of communication. You didn't text. You probably would probably sit in the car and say, okay, I'll pick you up maybe next week and we'll go on Saturday. And that might have been it for the next 3 days that you spoke. And that was understood. But now this constant being able to be in touch, people read into a lot more. Are they texting immediately? Are they texting right away? Why is there a 4-hour delay in response? There's so many things that go into it that I just think it's just a lot harder nowadays to actually um, to work through things. And I think that that really plays a lot of factors.
Well, and I think we talked about this before too, and you're totally right. I agree, and I think part of it too, if you expand on that, is that both women and men, I think especially women, but I think both, they, because of the internet, they think that they have limitless possibilities. There's just, okay, yeah, even if they get to the point of going on a date, which I think is exceptionally rare these days because of the many issues. But if they do and they meet a guy and he's like, yeah, he's fine. I'm pretty attracted to him. I think it could be worth a second time meeting him. And again, guys, I know I'm saying date. Please, don't freak out about that. Whatever, you know what I mean? An appropriate way of meeting somebody. And so, if you do that and then you're like, oh, I'm kind of interested. But I think that now, back in the day, you'd be like, yeah, of course yeah, he was interesting. Let's try it again. Let's go meet with his friends and go bowling. But now it's like, he was, out of 100, he was a 70, and well, come on, I can meet someone who's 100 because look at all my chances. Look at the internet. I can find someone on Facebook or Twitter or OkCupid or whatever. And I think that's how people think. And I think that's more of a female problem than a male, but maybe not. I think it could be both. The male problem, I think, generally, is that we've turned into a bunch of wusses. We've turned into a bunch of sissy pants who can't just get up the courage to ask a woman on a date, and we can't get up the courage to be able to handle if she says, no, I don't want to date you, or I don't want to marry you, or et cetera. And I think that's the problem, that men are feminized and women in a lot of ways are masculinized. So these issues are exceptionally deep. And that's why I think this is an interesting issue. And there's so many more things. I mean, hormonal issues. I mean, as I shared with you, Elon Musk tweeting about how, the birth control, pretty much hormonal birth control, is really bad for you. It's terrible. It's bad for your weight. It's bad for your health. It's bad for your mental health. And how many women out there today are on the quote unquote pill? I mean, of course, this is going to affect them. And yeah, I wonder why they don't have any babies. Well, maybe because you're not allowing them to be born in the first place. I mean, it's one of these things. You hear this. Oh, man. Okay, for some women, yeah, it is tragic, truly, truly tragic, and unfortunate in many reasons. But many times, it's their own fault.
And I think you look at the videos and kind of just what you said there, that some of the clips of the women, they're upset that they can't have children and they want to be in these relationships and all that. And I think it kind of points to women's their natural inclination to give life, to birth life, to provide for family. I think a lot of women want that, but they're told by the world that no, you can't have that. That's wrong, and it's fed to them constantly. And then they have that breaking point where they realize that I don't know. And that clip went around. I think, was it Matt Walsh tweeted about it and all of that, and it was this younger woman who was just saying, like, I can't do this. I can't do this 9 to 5 thing every day where I'm waking up early and I'm driving to work for 45 minutes and I'm in the office until 5 o'clock. And then I come home and I don't get home until 6:30. And she's like, I can't, and I have no money. Like, I can't do this. And I think people are really starting to, I think a lot of there is absolutely a trend. We even see it in homeschooling. There's somewhat of a trend. There is a shift of Agreed. People realizing like what is really going on here. Things are becoming, we talked about this once before. And I mean, this is kind of silly to throw in there, but the $20 Whopper or whatever, the $20 Big Mac, things are just so out of, it's just like undoable. And I think a lot of people are really feeling the pressure of it. And where we're kind of headed as a country. And I think as a whole, people are really starting to wake up in a lot of ways and to say, like, you know what, like maybe there is something to have been said about the way people used to live. And I think there's a really great book, and I haven't finished it, but it's called A Generation of Psychopaths. Strong title there, how baby boomers have ruined America. And I think it kind of goes back a little bit earlier than that, to be honest, but I think that might have been a peak in a lot of what went wrong with the pricing of everything and with the cost of living and all of these things. They showed some numbers, like people back then in the 1950s, they had like a $1,500 yearly income, and like everything was just, maybe that's a little low, but things were just things were good, things were fine. and they seemed happy. And you just have a lot of unhappiness. And I think more than anything too is really just the internet. And I think kind of like the point you said there is it's opened up so many possibilities for people, especially with Twitter. Like, and you see there is something to be said about that Catholic Simp Watch page. And people post one picture and then there's 800 comments underneath it. We've definitely changed as a society, and I don't think for the better in that way. But it does make you see, like, like it's opened up the entire world for your viewing. You could see all of these women, and women can see all of these men, and view all of our views and our interactions with people. And it's really opened up the pool, where back then you wouldn't have never have had that. People who were living, I don't know, in say Boston would have never had the opportunity to engage with women who might be living in, I don't know, Texas. You lived where you were, and that was it. You were limited to that. And now look, there you are, Kev, all the way in Germany.
Well,
I
moved to Germany to find a woman. So I'm I'm the opposite issue. That I literally found a woman that I wanted. I traveled the world to capture her, I suppose. So I'm the ultimate caveman. I suppose I did. Right, exactly. but what I would recommend everyone to go and watch. There's a really great video from Father Carlos Cepeda on the Catholic Wire, and he just recently published it. So if you look on YouTube or Facebook, I think Twitter as well, Catholic Wire, go subscribe, follow. It's fantastic content. Father is really truly one of my favorites. One of the best speakers out there, and one of the best understanding psychology and philosophy. He was in the monastery for 8 years, and he just somehow, you wouldn't think that would work that way, but because of that, he just gets it. It's an amazing thing. Once you know God in yourself, you know people, not the other way around. Anyway, he's got a great video, and it's about being a man and how important it is to be manly, to stand up for things, and to do your role, to be virtuous. It's really great. It's fantastic. And that's what I recommend to everyone out there, and women too. The video is for women too. And I think you're totally right, man. I think there are a lot of people who are waking up to this and like, hey, look, I'm sick of this. I don't want to be a little video game loser. I just don't. I don't want to play video games all day. I want to have what my grandparents or great grandparents had. And I truly believe that exists. And so I think, people are out there like, okay, how do I do this? And I highly recommend go find someone like Father Cepeda and bug him until he tells you, because, I don't have all the answers for you, but someone like him with his wisdom, I'm telling you, this is how you find it. And, just go ask him, go ask your priest, go say, Father, how can I be manly? And I guarantee you, or womanly, I guarantee you he's going to say, be virtuous. And then that's the question. So that's the question. Okay, how do you do that? And that is how the priest can help you. That's how, guys, that's how we win. That's how we win ourselves, and that's how we win society, by being virtuous, being manly, being womanly, and that's the fight, and that's what we got to do. And so go talk to your priest today, or Sunday. Really go do it and just ask him, Father, how can I affect things? How can I change? How can I be more manly? Ask him. I would be really curious. Please, if you do, and it's not too private, share it in the comments, because I would love to hear the priest's wisdom on this.
And I think that's a good question for Lent, because Aquinas kind of talks about this, and what is, you think about the word effeminacy, which just doesn't mean feminine, but it just means being, giving into one's pleasures. Is there's a softness, and that's what Aquinas talks about, being unable to deny pleasure at all. And I think we're in a crisis of that. We need pleasure constantly, and so this Lent is really a great time. We're on day 5 here, and I'm already feeling the weight of it a little bit, if I could share that at some points, but that's all right. Yeah. We push through. Grace builds on grace. So we'll continue to say that. That's even another thing too, is people don't really think about it, but praying can be hard in this very busy world. It can be hard to say, I'm going to sit here in quiet and pray the rosary. No matter how many times you do it, the next time might still be difficult. And I don't want to get into personal things, but people can say a rosary daily for years, and still that next one can still be difficult, because it's hard to put aside that time and to just be quiet. We can't do that anymore, and the world is full of noise, and in a lot of ways it's just the devil.
Oh, you're so right, man. No, it's 100%. That's where we start start with that. Yeah, start with the prayer. I mean, speaking for myself, and really find yourself a spiritual advisor, and man, go contact Father Zepeda. I'm telling you, this priest has a lot of the answers. He's got a lot of the answers. Go watch his stuff. He's a very wise man. I don't think he's that much older than me. It's pretty crazy. I think maybe a little bit. But he's seen a lot, even though he was in the monastery for 8 years. I think it was 8. Really good stuff. Catholic Wire. Go check it out. He does these men's retreats. He does women's retreats, and he records them. It's awesome stuff, guys. Awesome. It's some of the best, truly some of the top material you're going to find on the entire internet. I really, truly mean that. I'm not getting paid. This is not a sponsored. Father Zepeda did not bribe me for this. I will tell you that for sure. But it really is great. And he will truly help you understand how to be manly. And Matt, I tell you again, and I'm sure you would agree, if you learn how to be manly and virtuous, which that's what it means. To be manly is to be virtuous. If you can do that, your problems are going to be solved, because that is how you find God. It's how you find happiness. And it definitely can be how you find a woman. I can't say that for sure. Maybe it's not God's will. I don't know. But I know many men out there are searching for wives. They're searching for a future, which I totally understand and appreciate. Fix yourself first. Be a man. Right. Be virtuous. And if you're really having troubles, go find Father Zepeda. I hope he gets flooded with emails or something today. I really hope it, because I
found his page. Yeah.
Oh, go look, guys. Go contact him. He is. I'm telling you, he's the one who can really help you out if you have some of these questions. I hope I don't get an angry email from Father Zepeda later. Like, Kevin,
I'm too busy.
Totally. He's amazing. He's got a huge parish, and he still manages to do these videos. And I think he does most of the editing. I don't know how he does it. I don't think he sleeps. Anyway, check that out. And really, guys, it's such good stuff. And he just check out. I think it's his latest video. One of his latest videos about. I don't remember the title of it. Sorry, guys, but it's about how men can save the world, something like that. And it's hard. It's hard. I mean, it's not a sermon you often hear, because it's like, woo, boy, he's calling us out. He is calling us out. But it's exactly what we need to hear.
He's not going to make us uncomfortable, right?
Oh
no. What about grabbing a glass of water?
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever happened to that?
Right. So we have an option. We can go and listen to Bergoglio, who will just, spout.
Spirit is blowing. Yes.
Oh, just go and be yourselves. Hell doesn't exist. You're fine. Go love Mother Earth and hug Pachamama, and everything will be fine when you die.
The forest is crying.
You can exactly when you die. You'll go to the embrace of the forest. Whatever the thing is. This is the lunatic. So go instead of that, guys. Go and check out Catholic Wire, Father Zepeda. Can't recommend it enough. Anyway, check us out as well. We'll be back next week. At least I assume we're both kind of coughing, but we're both.
I see us both muting the cough.
Exactly. We're
getting there
on the mend. Yeah, exactly. But maybe by Easter we should be okay. But as always, guys, if you have a topic you want us to talk about, let us know. If you have an email, that you're really upset about us for something because Matt compared women to a donut shop.
I got my point.
Yeah, I
got my point.
Pretty mean. Matt's kind of a mean guy, but email me kevin89davis@gmail.com. No, I really do appreciate you guys emailing, even when it's a critique. I really do actually appreciate it. It means you guys listen, and it means you care. And so I know Matt does too. We appreciate that. Even if you disagree or we disagree with you, we do appreciate getting your email. So kevin89davis@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you have anything, please comment on these videos. So, we know that you're listening, and like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And we hope to see you guys again next Monday, when maybe we'll talk about, I don't know, what's the next conspiracy theory? Maybe we'll talk about, Atlantis. Let's talk about Atlantis next Monday. The lost city of Atlantis.
Starring Kevin Davis. Yeah.
Kevin Davis and Matt. I started with Matt. See, I go down these roads and I get arrogant automatically. All right. With Matt, I'm Kevin. We'll see you guys next week. God bless.
Make the world Catholic